The fruit bowl of New Zealand, now a mud bath. Nearly 5 months on from Cyclone Gabrielle, and the fertile food-producing land is still a graveyard of crops.
It's a heavy hit for the country.
Apple trees rot under more than a metre of silt. Strawberry plants lie beneath the mangled mess of greenhouses that once nurtured seeds into food. Kiwi fruit canopies are flattened by floodwaters and knee-deep in sludge.
As you can see, it's just been smashed to bits. You've got broken posts here, these broken netting, masses of silt that they're busy clearing away.
It's estimated about 40% of Hawke's Bay's crops are ruined. Bryden Nisbet leads the Hawke's Bay Fruit Growers Association. His own apple orchard was obliterated by the cyclone.
So where we're standing, what used to be here?
Yeah, this used to be trees. Yep, beautiful orchard. We were 10 days away from harvest, ready to go.
A sense of uncertainty hangs heavy.
We're hearing growers that have had enough, they want out. So the Esk Valley, a lot of orchards and vineyards wiped out there, and a lot of that won't be grown on again.
And that could have quite an impact on our food supply chain.
Yeah, that's hundreds of hectares of vineyards and apple trees and stone fruit and plums that are never going to be grown again.
Land that's been farmed for generations, gone.
They've got no orchard anymore, and so that's broken dreams, a legacy for the children, and so that's a huge area of well-being that we're really concerned about with them.
Growers can claim up to $250,000 in cyclone relief funds, but that doesn't go far when you have no insurance.
You can't insure for floods, you can't insure your trees.
It's raising questions about the vulnerability of New Zealand's food supply.
We need to do things a little bit differently.
Matt Morris is passionate about food security and sustainability. He helped organise a community feast for the University of Canterbury.
Beautiful.
It's where community groups tackling food security issues can come together with researchers, politicians and locals, sharing kai, ideas and resources.
You need one more chicken?
Why is so much food being wasted when people are going hungry, you know? Why do we wreck the planet when we're in the middle of an ecological crisis?
An issue George Stanley takes very seriously. She runs the Smith Street Community Farm in Christchurch.
I went to uni with 3 kids and had to cut the cloth, and I grew all our food in the backyard.
And now she's helping others do the same.
This was the last plot to be taken up, and they're going to be planting chilies.
The 2-acre urban farm can feed 120 families a week. There's a wait list for the garden's $25 produce boxes, and since the pandemic she's seen a surge in interest from people wanting their own plot of land to grow their own food.
How popular is it?
So we've just filled up our last plot last week. 3 years ago we had 7 plot holders, and now we have 28.
Do you find that people are worried about their food, about where it's going to come from and how much it's going to cost?
Yeah, yeah. So the worry's deep. It's just about everybody comes in is concerned. Yeah.
Figures from the Ministry of Health show just that.
12.5% to 14% of our population is food insecure. So that means people don't have access to food regularly.
It's led to more people stockpiling food, preparing for shortages as food prices soar.
People are definitely freezing their excess in summer. They're not wasting anything. They're bottling all the peaches, they're making apple sauce, there's anything that they can get their hands on. Jars are a hot commodity trade item.
People like Rowan Nugtarin, who's planting garlic in his plot.
I like growing vegetables.
Well, how does it make you feel knowing that you've got food that you can grow yourself and you can store food?
Yeah, it's pretty satisfying. I don't know whether it tastes better, but certainly there's a fair bit of sweat and hopes going to growing it.
In the 1980s, New Zealand had 26,000 of these market gardens. Today, though, there are just 900, which is why people like George want to see more of them again, because it gives local communities better food security.
managing land for food resilience in a parks-like setting is the way we're probably going to go in the future. Supply chains are disrupted constantly, and if we can produce food in the city, then we actually have some security about where we get our food from.
And Matt agrees.
Concerns me.
He says the food system needs to be overhauled and recreated.
We need political leadership on this, because relocalising and bringing things back in, it's an economic restructuring potentially. So it does need political leadership.
To help bring the focus back to self-sufficient communities and local food production.
Firstly, let's stop building on our most productive soils. And let's preserve them for food production, because we're going to need them.
Some of those soils are a long, long way off growing food again. With large areas of fruit trees being piled onto bonfires and a lot of the fruit also buried in the silt, growers are now facing questions about if they do replant, where are they going to get the trees from?
It could be 2, 3, 4 years before someone even gets trees that they've ordered this year.
He says quicker government assistance would make a huge difference.
I think if there was some government guarantees on future weather events, that, hey, you know, if we get another cyclone and there's this kind of devastation, that the government are going to come up with an idea or a plan to help mitigate that risk with growers, that would be good.
Because those risks are increasing in intensity and frequency.